Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, this is the Saturday afternoon bonus episode about Jimmy Kimmel. The normal Saturday episode is earlier in this feed, and I'm Johnny Mac, and you know it's a big story if I came inside on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Oh, it's so nice out. President Trump went on Truth Social, and he asked, whatever happened to the very highly overrated David Letterman, whose ratings were never very good either? He looks like hell, but at least he knew when to quit. Loser. Losers in all caps with 3 exclamation points. So I took some umbrage with this comment. Whatever you think of David Letterman, perhaps you find him unfunny. Perhaps you were disappointed in him when he admitted to some affairs. But I think if we look at David Letterman's body of work and his current position as an elder statesman, I don't think loser is a fair description of David Letterman. But to answer the president's question, whatever happened to David Letterman? Well, Mr. President, David was at the Atlantic Fest earlier this week, and he had this to say.
Well, this is misery. And in the world of somebody who is an authoritarian, maybe a dictatorship, sooner or later, everyone is going to be touched. But this is me. For 30 years, I did this for a living. So I see this happen. They took care of Colbert. That was rude. That was inexcusable. The man deserves a great deal of credit. He's in the Hall of Fame 9 times. And to be manipulated like that because the Ellison family didn't want to trouble Donald Trump with this move, so they got rid of him. Not only got rid of him, got rid of the whole franchise. You're not going to have to worry about anything, Larry. It's all gone. It's fine. Good night. And then my good friend Jimmy Kimmel. I feel bad about this because we all see where this is going, correct? It's managed media, and it's no good. It's silly. It's ridiculous, and you can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian criminal administration in the Oval Office. That's just not how this works. Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, George Bush II, Barack Obama. Yeah.
All right.
And attack these men mercilessly, never once. Well, Jimmy Carter, not so much, because what can you say about Jimmy Carter? He was just a sweet guy. But everybody else, we really went to work on. And I can remember Bill Clinton we really went to work on. And then it was like, whoa, this is a gift. What are we going to do? Bill Clinton, he's out of office after 8 years of Bill Clinton. And then George Bush came along, and it was easy motoring after that. But the point is, beating up on these people, rightly or wrongly, accurately or perhaps inaccurately, in the name of comedy, not once were we squeezed by anyone from any governmental agency, let alone the dreaded FCC.
Republican, Democrat, never.
Well, I will say we probably went easy on Barack Obama because I kind of like the guy.
But never a call from the White House,
Nothing.
Never an intimation.
No, because everybody sort of understood in the name of humor, in the name of commenting on what's going on in the world, cultural events, why not? And by the way, the institution of the President of the United States ought to be bigger than a guy doing a talk show. Here's the thing that's up my nose these days. By God, we got to get to work on those midterms. Well, I think the midterm elections will be elections in name only. I'm sorry. The Republicans have raised untold billions of dollars. The Democrats, I think, are staggering a bit behind in terms of fundraising.
From People magazine, a Jimmy Kimmel Live employee has said, we're just hoping that we're going to hear something soon, and hopefully it's good. The employee hopes for some sort of peaceful resolution and says they're not ready to admit it's over. We don't know anything. We're all on standby. Jimmy and the producers have had to keep this close to the vest. It was very quick and very shocking. It was a big shock to everybody. CNN reports that Kimmel's staff will continue to be paid for the time being. Well, that's good. At least through next week. There's a staff of between 200 and 250 individuals. During the WGA strike in 2023, Jimmy Kimmel provided funds for his crew while production on the show was halted. When production was shut down during the LA wildfires, Kimmel used his Hollywood backlot as a donation center to collect and distribute resources to those impacted by the disaster. Unclear at this time is what's going to happen to the Brooklyn broadcast. Jimmy Kimmel was going to do his show pretty soon from Brooklyn. Sources told Rolling Stone that the trucks containing the show's staging were due to leave Los Angeles on Friday in order to make the cross-country trek to New York City. One industry insider estimates to relocate the show for 5 days it cost more than $5 million. There were some social media pictures of what appeared to be the Hollywood crew packing up some gear, so we'll see if Jimmy returns, and if Jimmy returns, will he return in Brooklyn? Conan O'Brien on Twitter wrote, "The suspension of Jimmy Kimmel and the promise to silence other late-night hosts for criticizing the administration should disturb everyone on the right, left, and center. It's wrong, and anyone with a conscience knows it's wrong." Tim Dillon on Instagram, "Jimmy Kimmel should still be on the air. It's wrong to pretend it's because the show sucked or because it was losing eyeballs and money. Both true. Clearly, it was a politically motivated hit job. The joke was pretty mild, factually wrong, as in the guy who shot Charlie MAGA wasn't a MAGA guy. But who cares? That doesn't matter. Anyone who cares about the ability to speak freely for a living should be disturbed by this. They should also be disturbed by people celebrating the assassination of a political opponent, no matter what you thought of his views." I'll chime in there. I've said many times, no one should be murdered. As for the Kimmel joke, I won't play it again because I played it like 4 times in the last couple shows, and you can go back and grab it there. I don't think Kimmel's words were phrased as sharply as the intention. And as I said on the Letterman podcast the other day, you talking to a mic long enough, you're going to go back and wish you had said something more clearly. I do that every single day on this podcast. But if you listen to what Kimmel said, what Kimmel was saying was that the politicians were making clear that the alleged assassin was not a MAGA guy. And that's just what Tim Dillon is saying there. You're actually aligned with the words that actually were said by Jimmy Kimmel. I think people were reading into it a suggestion that Kimmel was hinting that the person was a MAGA guy, but that's not what actually, you know what, let me play it. I'll just play the top.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So if you want to parse language there, that's what Jimmy said. Andrew Schulz on Instagram posted this. "It is believed," it is in reference to Jimmy Kimmel. Schulz, "Left, fascism is wrong. Unless you kill our political opponents, then we'll celebrate it. Right, cancel culture is wrong. Unless you cancel the shows of our political opponents, then we'll celebrate it. The vast majorities of Americans that I speak to are repulsed by this behavior, yet there's almost no representation of this sentiment in media, independent or mainstream. How is that possible? Do you think Charlie Kirk would support canceling people for exercising their free speech?" Tom Segura on social media. "It's so depressing that it's come to this point. Everything is so divisive, and reactions to everything are only done in extremes now. Personally, I find the current state of affairs alarming. I wonder who will run to do what Brendan Carr suggests next." Brendan Carr is the FCC chair. "Jimmy Kimmel is a great dude." The Hollywood Reporter noted that Joe Rogan has not commented yet. It is 2:23 p.m. on Saturday, September 20th, and I have Googled Rogan a few times, and I have not seen any comments from Joe Rogan on this. Bill Maher commented on it. Here's his comments.
ABC stands for Always Be Caving. Jimmy, pal, I am with you. I support you. And on the bright side, you don't have to pretend anymore that you like Disneyland. You did a great, funny show for 2 decades. You should be proud of that. If this firing goes for you the way it did for me, you'll get 23 years on a better network.
Maher went on to say, now Trump is going after the New York Times. He sued them for $15 billion. He said they're a mouthpiece of the Democratic Party. You know what, Don? They are. You're right. And that's their right to be that. Like, there's not 1,000 people on the right who are your mouthpiece. Okay, that's how we work in this country. Brian Kilmeade, if you're like, who's that? I've heard of this Brian Kilmeade. I'll remind you, on September 10th, Brian Kilmeade was on the Fox News channel. The discussion was, what do we do with people who have mental illness and refuse to accept help from publicly funded resources? The guest suggested that people should be locked up in jail. Brian Kilmeade jumped in and said, or involuntary lethal injection or something, just kill him. Brian Kilmeade is still employed by Fox News, and no one has removed him from air. He has commented on Jimmy Kimmel, saying, the point is that Kimmel's comments went way too far for some television executives, not for me, not for you, but for them. And they turned up the heat on Kimmel, the host, to calm down the rhetoric. You know, perhaps we shouldn't give homeless people involuntary lethal injection. Think about that for a second, guys. Okay, I digress. Sorry. Back to Kimmel. Senator Ted Cruz chimed in. He was discussing FCC Chairman Brendan Carr's actions. Senator Ted Cruz said, "That's right out of Goodfellas. What he, Carr, said there is dangerous as hell. And so he threatens explicitly we're going to cancel ABC's license. We're going to take them off the air so ABC cannot broadcast anymore. He says we can do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way. Yeah, and I got to say, that's right out of Goodfellas." Keith Olbermann pointed out it's actually right out of a 1969 Monty Python sketch where two gentlemen make some implied threats to a military general, a very funny sketch. Senator Cruz, using a mobster voice of sorts, went on to say, "That's right, a mafioso coming into a bar going, 'Nice bar you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.'" That's the Python part of it. Senator Cruz added, "Going down this road, there will come a time when a Democrat wins again, wins the White House. They will silence us. They will use this power, and they will use it ruthlessly, and that is dangerous." Patton Oswalt chimed in on social media from an airport. This is a little lengthy, but I'm going to let it for the most part go. Minor edits here.
Adding to the wall of voices that's saying we see what's happening, I know can help in times like this, so we see what's happening. I think everybody sees what's happening, except the people that are benefiting from this. We're pretending like they don't see what's happening. I'm going to try to make this coherent and quick. It's going to be neither. I was thinking, so Isaac Asimov, already we're off on a tangent. Isaac Asimov said that there's only 3 science fiction plots. What if only, and if this goes on. And unfortunately, we are at the dark end of if this goes on. That line that when we crossed it, we're all supposed to rise up, that's way, way behind us. So we can't just stand up anymore. We gotta roar up, screaming, and link arms. All of us. This thing is coming for all of us. This is a ancient evil that is shooting its shot right now. It sees its window, and it's trying again. It's always going to try. We're always going to have to fight it. This is our time to fight it. And please, I can already see in the comments. Imagine in the comments people going, "Oh, you're this West Coast elite." I'm in the airport right now. I'm traveling to Austin today. I was in Raleigh last week. I'll be in Ohio next month. I'll be in Milwaukee. I'll be in Wisconsin next. I travel all over the country. I love traveling this country. I love this country, and I love meeting all the people here. And I meet people every day, every weekend doing comedy, and I know this is not what they voted for. Maybe they thought they were voting for something else. I know this is not what they were voting for. And everyone that's been saying, "Oh, I supported Trump, but this isn't what I voted for." Well, now's your time to actually show that. Okay, please. This is an awesome country. And we're handing it over to frightened, short-sighted. I don't even know what these people are. We're handing it over to the wrong people.
And Emmy winner James Woods has chimed in to his 5 million Twitter followers. Woods wrote, "We've all made jokes at Jimmy Kimmel's expense, but Mr. Kimmel is a fellow artist, and in fact, I'm heartbroken to see the way he's been treated. I believe he is, in his heart of hearts, a good and decent fellow, devoid of malice and hate. Just kidding, Jimbo. Eat crap." He used the S word there. On Friday, James Woods responded to the Stephen Colbert line, "Tonight we are all Jimmy Kimmel." Woods wrote, "He's right. You're all douchebags." James Woods on Twitter. And that is your bonus episode. Okay, next thing in the feed will be Sunday morning. It'll be a normal episode, and there will be a Sunday afternoon Jimmy Kimmel bonus episode. Enjoy your Saturday.